Hi there, I am Wild Humphrey and they call me the Fact Master. So I'll tell you all those things you never knew you didn't know. Some that you do, but I'm faster than Google and everything I tell you is from up here, and that is a fact. Now in 1945 there were these two guys. They were quite clever and they thought, listen, we need to do something for the people and let's put on a show. So what they did, they wrote a musical, put it on stage, everyone flocked to see it. Their names were Rodgers and Hammerstein, and this musical was Carousel. Now the story of this carousel goes that there's a family there and the husband is killed during the play. He falls on his knife during a botched robbery attempt and his wife is devastated. She's inconsolable, and then her cousin happens to be there and her cousin starts singing a song to her. Now there's lots of songs in Carousel, but this particular song seemed to have more meaning and stood out more than all of the others, and the audience, well, they really liked it. It was used for this one scene, and then it was used again at the end of the play. And the idea of this song was to give this devastated woman some hope, some belief, something that would make her feel better somehow. And that's exactly what it did. The name of the song was You'll Never Walk Alone. And it's the You'll Never Walk Alone that we still know to this day. Little did Rodgers and Hammerstein know how big this was actually going to be. But sure enough, that's what happened. A few years later, there's a young lad in Liverpool and he heard this song by Rodgers and Hammerstein, this You'll Never Walk Alone. He thought, I quite like that. I think one day I might just sing that song. Because he had ideas of having a pop group and growing up and being famous. His name was Gerry Marsden. And that's exactly what he did. He formed Gerry and the Pacemakers and released You'll Never Walk Alone in 1963 and took it to the top of the charts. Well, he realised a great dream, but the song had been picked up some years before that, of all places, in Madison, in America, by a drum and bugle scouts group in 1957. They was challenged to like a sing-off by one of their rival groups, and the rival group had just sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is an incredible piece of music, of course, made famous by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz. So what these bugle and drum boys thought, well, what can we sing? I know, what was that song we sang a few years ago? You'll Never Walk Alone, that's the one. Right, let's sing that. And that's what they sung at full voice. And from that day to this, it's been their signature tune. Now that is little known because, obviously in 1963, Gerry Marsden got it. But what he'd done, Gerry, he was a big Liverpool fan. And he'd spoken to Bill Shankly, who was the manager of Liverpool at the time. And Liverpool were going through a resurgence because Shanks had been there for now almost 4 years and he'd changed everything. It was unbelievable. And the Liverpool music scene was taking over the world with the Beatles and Cilla Black and of course Gerry and the Pacemakers. Now as Gerry had said to Shanks, listen, I've done this new song, here's a copy for you. And he gave him a copy of You'll Never Walk Alone. Shanks took home and played it and thought, what a song that is. He loved it. And he said to Gerry Marsden, you've just given me a great song. Now I've given you a great team, so let's see what happens. Well, there ain't no looking back. When it was released at Anfield at the time, they used to have a DJ. It was one of the few clubs that actually have a DJ, and this DJ every week would play the top 10 records at the time, and he counted them down, and the last one was always number one, which was generally the Beatles, of course, or Silla. But during this, Jerry Marsden's song entered the top 10, and it was on the 19th of October 1963. Liverpool were playing West Brom, and the DJ played this song, You'll Never Walk Alone. And of course quite a few people had heard it before, had been knocking about and that, but they thought, jeez. And the Cop were famous for singing songs. They put their own words in, but they sang Beatles songs, Cilla Black, all kinds of songs. And straight away they picked up on You'll Never Walk Alone. And every week the DJ played it, every week they sang it. And then the song was number one for 4 weeks. In fact, it was number one at the time that JFK was shot. But there's a lot more to this than that. When it dropped out of the top 10, the DJ didn't play it. Next thing you know, all around the ground you can hear, where's our song? Where's our song? Where's our song? And the DJ's like, well, what song is it? And at that bit, the penny dropped. He thought, oh Christ, they want You'll Never Walk Alone. Well, it was more than his life's worth not to play that song, so he played it, and it's been played ever since at Liverpool Football Club on match day. And the Cop, of course, in full voice, sang it. Now it became so famous. Many, it's one of those songs where tens of thousands of people know it word for word. Tens of thousands. Now you think all the most famous songs you can. Do you know all the words? But You'll Never Walk Alone. So many know it, and it means so much. This is much more than a song. It's more than an anthem. It's incredible. It's been used so many times to help raise money for great good causes. It's been number one 3 times. It was in '63. Then in 1985 it was released to support the Bradford fire disaster after that, and raised a fortune for that. It was number one actually earlier this year when 99-year-old Captain Tom became the oldest guy ever to have a number one. And what was he singing? You'll Never Walk Alone with Michael Ball. That's unbelievable. And many artists, world superstars, have sang, recorded You'll Never Walk Alone. Barbara Streisand is one. Sinatra, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, even Elvis recorded You'll Never Walk Alone. That's how powerful this song is. It's more than you can believe. And when you hear it at the football grounds, it's Liverpool's anthem. It's more than just that even. It's part of the fabric that makes up the club. It's as important as the bricks, the gates, the football pitch and the red shirts themselves. Everybody joins in when this is sung. And it must make the players' hairs stand up and end on the back of the neck when it's singing and they're playing. But it gives them a lift like you wouldn't believe. And just look back at some of the games to see what I mean. Now a number of other clubs have also adopted You'll Never Walk Alone as their anthem. Celtic, north of the border, have adopted it, and lots of them in Europe. And they all do it very well, and they all do it with passion and belief. But no one does it, none of them, quite the way they do it at Anfield. When they get going, no one can touch them. And many clubs would love to have You'll Never Walk Alone as their anthem, but they just can't. And that is a fact, because it belongs at Liverpool Football Club. That's it, home. And out of all the artists who've recorded this song, they're all really good, but none of them sound quite the same as Gerry and the Pacemakers. And when they released it in '63, the B-side was called That's Alright. Well, that was a lot more than alright, and that is a fact. So, this great song, been around for all these years, people sing at the top of their voices and give everything they've got to give those players a boost in so many places, but it means so much more. It's sung in the good times, the bad times, and the sad times. You know what I'm talking about. So, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you will never walk alone, and that is a fact. And Wild Humphrey, the Fact Master, such a famous anthem, I had to share with you something about it. There's so much more you can find out if you want to, but that is what I've got for you for now, and that is a fact. Please subscribe to my channel, because I'll be back with much more for you to listen to. No, it's a fact. In the meantime, take it easy, look after yourself. Thanks for watching.